All right, just breezing through this first hour here, wrapping it up, and in the cleanup spot, usually where you put your best hitter in the cleanup spot, we got one of the best. Zen Sams joins us right now. She's back in the United States of America, and she joins us for a little double duty on Friday. Zen, thanks a lot for joining us.
You are so welcome for having me, Mr. Tobacco.
Well, I'm sorry you're over there because here we have a bottle of Moet that we just popped open. Plus, we're doing.
I am so sorry too at this point.
We're doing martinis and champagne, so it's going to be a wild second hour. I can assure you of that.
But I wasn't invited.
Well, I told Frank to invite you. We're starting to open up for in person. But it's a trek to Staten Island for you.
Well, no, I mean, Nico and I invited her last week, but she had difficulties with childcare.
The old childcare.
There was a charity in a yard with alcohol involved. I definitely needed childcare at that point.
That's for sure. So, Zen, you're a big celebrity. You're in all these Hollywood movies like The Banker and stuff. You made your own movie. But Neo had this, noteworthy performance at George Floyd's funeral, and everyone apparently was raving about it, and then now all hell has broke loose. What's happening here?
Yeah, Neo. Oh boy, oh boy. These celebrities are just not trained for public speaking, are they? But here's what I will say. Before we put the Neo controversy, let's put this racial bias into perspective for just a moment. I recall reading in 1992, and this goes back as somebody much older than me pointed this out the other day, but in 1992, America heard a jury say that the white cops that watched on tape hundreds of times beating Rodney King weren't guilty of their obvious crimes. And then again in 2014, Eric Garner was executed for selling cigarettes by a white cop who strangled him, as we all watched, right? And his words were, "I can't breathe." So how many times have we seen people of color killed by police? Tamir Rice, Philando Castile, Laquan McDonald, now George Floyd. So
Sounds
this
like
is our
five.
pandemic.
No, there's more than five.
Well, no, I'm saying the high-profile ones. When she's talking about Eric Garner, he wasn't Eric Garner wasn't executed. I'm not saying he should have died. I'm not saying he should have died. I'm not saying the cop didn't use a little more force than he should have, but he wasn't executed. An execution is a planned murder.
Yeah.
This guy was responding, and maybe he went a little too far, but he wasn't executed.
You're right. I misspoke. But it's our pandemic, and it infects all of us, and we've yet to find a vaccine. So now this Neo thing. And, Neo is kind of like that situation where, you have these celebrities that are just not trained to be public speakers. I'm sorry. You don't know what's going to come out of their mouth. They rant and rave all the time. And then when you have them show up and they do this amazing performance, sure, some of it is taken with a grain of salt, like the performance outranked what he said. But the bottom line, and this is a really difficult bottom line, is that Neo made some remarks and he thanked George Floyd for his sacrifices. And it didn't go too well because some of this commentary was tone deaf, and a lot of people got really upset at Neo's comments. I know Neo is a father of four. He's a father to children himself. And he said, "I thank George Floyd for his service." Now, a lot of things could have been said, but that one was a little bit taken out of context and people got mad at that representation. So, he performed It's So Hard to Say Goodbye to Yesterday. And he broke down twice while he was performing this. Mind you, it feels like this song has become a go-to anthem this year because that Boyz II Men performed it during the opening of the 2020 Grammy Awards in tribute to Kobe Bryant. So they re-performed it at this funeral service in his hometown of Texas. And a lot of celebrities, I mean, this was a celebrity-studded performance. The Reverend Al Sharpton, he showed up.
He's a celebrity? He's a celebrity?
Reverend Al Sharpton showed up.
He's a celebrity? He's famous or infamous?
No, I was going to get to the celebrity lineup, but Reverend Al Sharpton delivered the eulogy. And then we also had Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden, who pre-recorded a video testimonial and proclaimed that when there's justice for George Floyd, we will truly be on our way to racial justice in America. The service was also a lot of actors. When I say celebrities, Jamie Foxx, Channing Tatum, football players, J.J. Watt and DJ Reader, gospel singer Kim Burrell, soul singer Al B. There's a lot of rappers that Slim Thug, Paul Wall, Trey the Truth. Now the controversy is after these comments started to hit the airwaves, and a lot of people felt like it was just tone deaf. It earned him raves, but the remarks he made before his performance were really generated a ton of backlash online. But look, if he says, "I just want to thank George Floyd personally for his sacrifice, so that my kids can be all right later on," and that he appreciated the sacrifice, my brother, he went on to say. He's a father, and I think that he was reacting in the moment. I don't that this was intended to be, perceived the way it was. And people are really hypersensitive these days, and celebrities are going to find themselves catching heat more and more for insensitive comments.
We're running out of time. We have less than a minute left. We see Italy, which is a country that relies heavily on tourism, planning for a post-coronavirus world. What are American beaches going to look like with,
I don't know.
especially shore towns like
future
Jersey?
Italian officials, they were plotting a post-corona. They did a design competition, and on Tuesday, they submitted via video conference. And shall we say, the results were interesting because the schematics show plexiglass cubicles literally plopped on sand, just big enough for 2 lounge chairs and an umbrella. I mean, I remain totally unimpressed. I want to see who wants to shut themselves in an enclosure like this between 4 plexiglass walls under the scorching sun. I mean, people will die from dehydration. So whoever comes to the sea, in my opinion, needs to go to the open air and just practice social distancing, safety.
No doubt.
I mean, I did a lot of research on this, but it's not,
All right.
Coronavirus does not live in the water.
All right, Zen Sams, thank you so much. We need you back in studio soon. We're going to leave it there. We're going to leave it there for hour 1. We'll be back at you right after this.